Hi, I'm RTJ, and I'm here to give you a PSA about the making of this video game here.
Our captors will love it.
The end.
Yeah.
Getting out of here.
I don't even get the point of these flashbacks anymore.
I mean, yeah, these are some of the worstly put in flashbacks ever. Like, well, the only reason really we know is because, oh, we gotta make use of Showdown. It's not like we could have, you know, just had the sequence from the start, but no, we gotta fit this in.
And no offense to Sean, but of all the actors to bring back, I think he could have been replaced, honestly, with having not all these scenes hang out.
Showdown, but they couldn't bring back Gwen or Jeff.
Anyway, now basically this mission is complete filler. A.I.M is using a satellite, and we need to destroy the base that is controlling, the antenna that is controlling it. This level is extremely short anyway, so...
Now that their assets are frozen, they've holed up.
Here?
Yes, indeed. A.I.M Central.
Oh God, Terrence, that line read.
Well, first things first.
You're not much better, RDJ. Actually, yo, you're worse. Oh boy.
Laser accumulator detected, sir.
Anyway, there you go. The tower is protected by a shield, so first thing first will be to deactivate it.
Lovely.
Pew pew pew.
Oh look, it's the exact same shit again.
Again, I don't mind the style of destroying different things, you know, before progressing to the next objective. It's classic shooter logic. It's just the combination of the presentation, the level design, and you know, the overall difficulty in general, and in a sense of the game being too hard or too easy. It's just one way or the other. It's clearly unbalanced. The combination of these three things makes everything so unappealing.
Not only that, but like I said, the gameplay. You know what this game sorely lacks? Some melee abilities.
That too.
Like, okay,
I don't think there's a melee attack here. There is one in Iron Man 2.
You know, Iron Man, I got something to tell you. When Superman 64 has a wider variety in the gameplay variety than you have major issues. Like, say what you will about Superman 64, but I would argue the flight controls were actually better in that game, and not only that, while you had heat vision, you also had melee attacks. Like, seriously, this doesn't make sense.
I think there were still problems with the detection, but I get what you mean.
Oh, well, yeah, it's Superman 64. But yeah, it's like, well, again, the sad thing is like, well, this is making Superman 64 look like it had a better idea, and it probably did. Superman 64 is just the more famously bad game, but I'd argue this game has potential to be worse.
The way I need to deactivate the generators, I need to destroy these ball structures under it, but it looks like I'm killing someone's ball sack. Jesus.
Iron Man is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power.
Already did. Yeah, a couple of these missions kind of feel like that. And, well, I guess I will give this over the Godzilla PS4 game. It's not as slow, at the very least. The levels, aside from those two occasions, like that god-awful escort mission, at least the levels are mercifully short. Not, believe me, Jonah, when it comes to bad MCU Phase 1 tying games that are way longer than they should be, we haven't seen the worst yet.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I will use Angry Joe's quotes for this. I don't know what's worse, 4 hours of garbage or 12 hours of garbage.
That's an easy answer for me. I mean,
it depends on how intense the garbage is.
Well, in that case, you have to give me specific information about the two types of garbage then, because that's too vague of a description, just saying both are garbage.
I'll leave that to Tio.
Well, again, you will see with the proper context as well, but if you ask me, well, if I had to rate, by the time of this recording, I still haven't played the Captain America game, but all the others I did so far. And so far, the worst to me is probably the one that will do, that is next after this one. Incredible Hulk 2008, unfortunately. The best, not counting the Captain America one, the best is probably Iron Man 2. but that's unfortunately not saying much. Again, you guys will be able to see for yourself. So the shield is down, but there are still other stuff, minor stuff that we need to destroy.
Yay!
Again, at least they go down fast enough, unlike the submarines in the Arctic episode.
Can you feel the excitement, Whibs and Shiroi?
Livesy is quit.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, not just that. It's also once again I need to stress out. It's not just the fact that you need to destroy these things. It's that you need to keep also your flight constantly activated with the the dorsal buttons. Oh, there we go.
Jarvis, how much time do we
If I recall correctly, your bonus of
How much time do we have?
if I recall correctly, your bonus objective is to destroy everything in 4 minutes, which I think it's much. It is completely doable.
You know,
So
at
at least.
first... Oh,
Go
sorry.
on, Shiro. Go on.
At first I thought it was just because of the area we were in at the time, but whenever we're in a gameplay section in this, it feels like there's like a yellow filter on everything.
It's more. It's the bloom effect, Shiro.
Even in the city, like, 'cause I thought it was just because we were in, the desert to begin with, so...
Unfortunately,
it's everywhere.
in the first years of the 7th generation of console, there was this obsession with putting bloom over everything.
They thought it made the games look better, when in reality, it just
kinda
ended up.
just makes them look dusty.
Yeah. Bottom line, it has aged horribly.
It was either that or
It's
the
like-
Vaseline. It was either the bloom or the Vaseline effect, like Theo mentioned in the.
Ooh, the Vaseline effect.
Yeah.
Hey, so why don't you tell her?
Remember, Joe, but she was in Blue Dragon with us.
Well, it might be best to explain to her what the Vaseline effect.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Basically, if you don't know, everybody, go check our Blue Dragon playthrough. It's the one example from our channel from this channel that I can remember. That maybe the others remember. Oh, hold on, cutscene.
Yeah. Basically, no. But again, the level is pretty much over. Basically, Iron Man just leaves happily, complete with the shot of the corpses of his enemies.
Mission complete, Jarvis.
Again,
Very
the ruthlessness of Iron Man in this game is so astounding.
I want to rid the world of weapons. I'll kill as many people as I need to do that.
But anyway, go on. Actually, no, because because we're time for the final level. Finally, Obediah is inside the Iron Monger suit. Well, again, I have no idea where they managed to get the core of Tony.
Not only that, but we never saw any scene of him building it, like,
Yeah, we don't even get the famous line, Tony Stark built this with
in a
with
cage.
box of scraps in a cage."
thinking you could build these weapons and then look away.
I love how we had to pause that, almost as if he
Also,
was trying
this
to.
360 shot, Jesus Christ.
It's time you
It's like
started living it.
it's like that. Scene
Also,
you
his
just
mustache
showed
has disappeared
I'm not
again.
letting you do this.
You seem to think you hold the cards here.
I love how they're just
Miss Potts would
webcamming,
probably
talking to
disagree.
each other while they're setting up their armors.
Did you
Like,
think I wouldn't find out what she was
like,
doing?
what is this?
If
A
you
robot
hurt her,
tech
don't force
science
my
club or
hand then.
something?
Doesn't have to be this way, Obadiah. But I am coming for Pepper.
You always
did
do
Pepper
what you
get kidnapped
want,
again?
Tony.
Yes.
I'll do.
When did that happen?
Oh, screw it.
It did. Okay, shut up.
I want answers.
Not just that, remember how Obadiah was forced to activate the Iron Monger suit in an emergency by night? Now he is doing it very calmly with all the preparations he did in the middle of the day.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
again, quite the difference. I still consider this a type B because the plot line of the movie is at least still loosely followed, but still, some of the changes apported to the main story don't make too much sense. I guess the programmers didn't know how to program a properly night scenario would have the models visible, so we're just whatever, it's sunset.
I can even do my proper Tony Stark impression because he sounds so off in this game.
Not just that, this has got to be the most deserted New York I've ever seen.
Tell me about it.
Where's Pepper?
Don't we all? But Teo, don't we all know about? Don't worry, Teo. Everybody
Oh
was
my
evacuated
god,
to the
he's
safe
not even
zone.
properly holding the car.
You set the ball rolling, Tony. This is the result.
Don't worry, Teo. New York was evacuated. It's unoccupied now. It's fine.
Again, the game immediately after this, at least for the PS3 version, manages to have a New York that's actually more alive with a lot of NPCs. Alright, final boss fight, and in true tradition it's tedious as fuck.
Brilliant.
The Iron Monger constantly shoots at you, it has multiple health bar, so just by taking down once is not gonna be enough, and you will see what happens at the end. Go on, Pedro.
But yeah, the Vaseline effect is exactly what the name would imply. It's like someone sploot Vaseline all over the fucking screen.
Oh hey, Glibs, I see you're back from supposedly quitting.
I didn't say I quit, I said burped.
Oh, but your Italian counterpart
Basically,
Teo was
Glibs,
suggested.
final boss time.
Whatever, we're finally at the climax of the movie, or what this game interprets as the climax of the movie.
Basically, Pepper got into trouble again. Stain is now
And we're fighting
Iron Monger.
basically, we're fighting the Iron Monger suit by day.
Okay.
Also,
I mean, I prefer
also,
night ones anyway.
no Nick Fury involved. Nick Fury is not in this game. Doesn't show up at all. No Coulson for that matter.
Well, to be fair, Nick Fury only showed up in the after credits scene. Of the
Okay.
It's still
no
sacrilege
Coulson.
that they didn't have him
Shield
show
does not
up.
exist in this game.
Which
It's
is...
especially jarring because in the Iron Man 2 video game, they still act like they knew S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long time.
Oh no, I died. Oh wait, no, I'm fine.
But go on, Pedro.
The Vaseline effect is basically when sometimes like it gets all, how should I put it, muddy, I guess is the best word I can use to describe it. It just looks so weird, like, and I don't understand why games like Blue Dragon back in this generation of consoles did it. I guess it's to hide the fact that the graphics look ugly, but which would be it's just one of those cases where maybe you shouldn't have made so many games where the colors consist of mostly yellowish brown like this one.
Yeah. Basically now in this second phase, the Iron Monger will start using its own Unibeam. What you're supposed to do is to time right your dodging maneuvers when you see him charging. It's not easy, so you might as well just take cover behind a building.
Yeah. Using skill or the game being BS? You decide.
Both. Riveting.
It's one of those things where it's because the basic gist of it is that while Blue Dragon is imitating an anime art style, Akira Toriyama specifically, the developers for some reason did not go with a cel-shaded art style and decided to go with how should I put this, like a claymation
CGI.
Yeah. It's a mixture of it's similar to both claymation and CGI.
It's one of those cases with and while that isn't inherently a bad idea, I think the execution was a bit off because there's very little color about it, even though when you look at the artwork itself, the artwork is very colorful in typical Akira Toriyama fashion, but it doesn't look anything like it.
From the memories that I have, there's a distinct lack of red in the entire palette of the game. There's a lot of blue, obviously, a lot of purple and brown, but the red, not so much.
I think the major problem is...
Dragon Quest 11 pretty much executed that much better, let's just say that.
When it comes to Blue Dragon, I think it falls into that pit trap a lot of games fell into with the with the 7th generation of consoles, trying to look quote-unquote high def by looking quote-unquote less colored. Yeah, for some reason they thought, hey, with less colors, our stuff will look great. Trust me, even Uncharted suffered for that. I mean, it's a good game technically, but visually it's kind of bland.
I thought it was just as colorful as the others.
Well, the first game, well, definitely, what I love it to be more colorful than they specifically said in the behind-the-scenes videos that they went out of their way to make something that looked different than all the brown games on the market. That's why they made the first game colorful and kept going with that. The problem is, remember that game kind of had a difficult development cycle. You
Yeah.
know, not to
Because
mention
PS3.
not just PS3 too. There was also the fact that they had to restructure because of Jason and Andy leaving the company.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a tumultuous development cycle. The fact that the game still turned out good, not great, but still good, is kind of a miracle when you put that in perspective. So fortunately, Uncharted 2 was much better in that regard.
Also, by the way, we're at the 4th phase by now. I mean, the 4th Outlaw.
Actually, it's interesting you say that. Fun fact too, the art director of Uncharted 1 was Bob Raffay. Who is that? The director of Rise of Lyric. And he left Naughty Dog right after finishing Uncharted 1. So maybe it's thanks to the new art director for Uncharted 2 that things got better, who knows?
But probably also more knowledge with the hardware and the engine we were using.
Anyway, there's banter going on
the fight
between
is still
our
going
main...
and Stain is I know that Stain is explaining all this motivation and doing the villain speech, but this fight is so horrible.
How weird. Again, like I said, in the game, Stain actually has more motivation for his evil tactics than he does in the movie. Shame that almost everything else sucks in this game.
I haven't seen it properly because it's one of its oldest reviews, but according to Dark Lord Shadow, the Wii version of this game is significantly different and much better to play as, which I can't believe that. It doesn't happen for every single one of these games, but their SD counterparts or the portable versions, like the DS versions, were basically different games and they were much better. Also, Fifth Eldar.
Yeah. But yeah, it's exactly like
Jesus, you'd think this was a Kingdom Hearts boss with how many bars he has.
Which specific boss did you associated with sorry, Jova?
I'd associate it with either the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 1 or the Maleficent Dragon boss.
No, I mean the boss theme music.
No,
the boss music.
Because these games certainly don't having a decent soundtrack.
I'm gonna say Destiny Force Awakens.
Okay
then. Which one is that, Jova, again?
The one that plays when you go up against a Darkseid Heartless, when you go up against that giant Heartless and Monstro's belly at the final phase and all that.
Sure. I get which one. But yeah, like Jova was saying, it's exactly like he was saying. Fortunately, again, Dragon Quest XI proved that approach can work if it's in the hands of an art director who knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
It's still not my personally preferred approach. I still would rather have cell shading Ni no Kuni style, but this is fine as well.
Actually, I don't know if you mentioned it. Did Mistwalker said what specific engine they were using for Blue Dragon? What name was it?
It doesn't show anything in the credits too. I'm guessing it's their own internal engine, most likely. I'll look it up. Also,
this phase is particularly bullshit because, as you can see, Obediah keeps throwing shit at you but does so much damage. I'm in critical mode, basically.
Also, this just mirrors the music very low during this side. Like I haven't
toggled it. But that's the thing, Jova. In general, the score has been proven to be either non-existent or just plain bad.
Like, this is supposed to be the final fight, and yet I'm not really feeling much towards it.
Exploding is something that's gonna happen in a couple of minutes, but the most interesting piece of music, it's in the credits where they use the Iron Man song. Whoop-de-doo.
Congrats, you can actually get interesting music by taking from the movie.
Not just that, and once again I need to stress out, when they composed that music, it wasn't even made for the character of Iron Man. Just lucky coincidence.
You know, if this game wasn't even gonna bother, why not take one of the few bits of good music that the movie had?
License, copyright stuff, Jova.
Even though they include that in the credits anyway.
It's just once, so...
Honestly, I would take that one song repeated rather than this entire soundtrack.
Alright, almost doing it. Even when rerouting, I don't know exactly what has happened now, because Iron Man is in this glowing status. Oh my god, another one.
You must engage at close proximity.
Basically, now it's time Jova for the melee attack. Boy, it's in. We need to grab him. There you go. Basically,
get off my
remember,
back.
you remember the scene in the movie where he disconnects part of the armor?
Yes.
There you go.
Sir, he cannot draw power safely from his power core.
And there you go. He's dead.
Just like that.
Oh, man.
I can't see him.
Oh,
Oh man.
What
Hold on.
Pepper.
Oh man, he died. Oh well.
I don't know. Jarvis, got anything?
Negative,
Yeah,
sir.
he kind of just disappeared.
Alarms going off all
Oh.
over the place.
Pepper, listen to me. We got big problems. The
Oh,
arc
shit.
reactor is melting down.
What do we do?
What?
Not a big deal or anything.
Okay, headed there now.
Okay, all of a sudden another dilemma. I'm sorry, wasn't Iron Monger supposed to be the final threat? Now we have this going on.
Remember, A.I.M is still a thing.
Leading to the roof. I'll destroy the regulator.
Basically, the power regulators are your secondary objective of this mission.
How nice of AIM to wait until after we were done fighting Iron Monger, who again is mysteriously
Sorry,
vanished.
Destroyed. 2 remaining. Regulator destroyed.
Pew, pew, pew.
Remaining.
There you go.
Final regulator destroyed, sir.
Pepper, I've shut down all the regulators. When I give the word,
Stain is here.
Wait, how are you still alive?
Oh, he's alive. What a shock.
He gets weird. His acting gets weirder and weirder as the game goes on.
And there you go.
Right,
And there you go. Despite everything, he pretty much dies the same way.
I think
Like,
you're right.
I love
Everyone is
how-
getting progressively more high as the game goes on.
There you go.
I'd much rather hear Tony Robert talking about the whole game rather than playing it.
Wait for it. We're about to get to the ending, actually.
Oh.
I'll say this more later. By the way, yes, this is the ending. There's no conference.
The man who embraces his heroic nature pays a terrible price. He sees the darkness in the world and in his own heart, and is forever changed.
What?
The child gives
Ending
way to
monologue
the
from
man.
Sean Taub. Yeah, not
Yeah.
an ending
Day
monologue
comes
from Tony, one from
when he
Sean
must ask
Taub.
himself,
Tony will have something to say, I
what
think.
kind of man will I be? Am I willing to die on my feet, or will I live my life on my knees? Do I have what it takes to become truly great? To become more than a man? To become
Fuck
Iron
you. No, actually, Joel was right. We're done.
Yeah.
No
Oh.
final mission from Tony.
Seriously?
As for your
So,
question,
no, you don't. Sorry. So basically, you don't even get the. Hold on.
and the credits don't have any music in it.
Did we mute him? No, actually, very well.
There it is.
Oh,
There
there
you
you go.
I'm gonna mute it for the actual rendering just to be sure, like he did for Prince of Persia. But anyway, no, so we don't even get to the scene where Iron Man has to learn the fact that his suit freezes in space, so he uses that against Iron Monger. We don't even get to the conference scene. This is such an abridged version of the story of the movie, and I don't even get it. But whatever. Pedro, answer. Can you give me an answer?
No, I cannot because there's no record. It doesn't say anything in the credits. It doesn't say anything anywhere. It pretty much. I'm pretty sure it was just their own internal engine that they made that didn't even give it a name. Most likely.
Anyway, all right. Final
Can I go
thoughts.
first?
Please.
Because I gotta go after this. Well, it's typical shitty licensed game, although it has the charm, quote unquote, of Robert Downey Jr. just completely not giving a shit about anything.
That's the thing, Rebs. He starts like it's like he becomes more stoned rather than uninterested as the game goes on. It's like
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Robert had to record all of his lines in one day.
Yeah,
Probably.
Considering how short the game was, I wouldn't be surprised.
Or there's also Terrence Howard giving mostly a good performance, aside from those really awkward line deliveries. And yeah, funny enough, out of the three, I think Sean Taub's the better of the actors brought in from the movie in this game.
You know what's funny? We don't even.
Yeah, the guy who plays the Doctor who goes out of the film after half an hour.
It's funny. We don't even get to see his actual death on screen in this game.
No.
So yeah, it doesn't look fun with gameplay. It doesn't look fun. I mean, it doesn't even look all that good in terms of graphics, and damn, that gameplay looks horrible.
The Wii version is actually better, I dare say.
Yeah, but we're not doing
wow.
the Wii version, are we?
At least I know I'm not, because my computer still can't run Dolphin on decently.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, that was absolute bullshit. I am leaving now. I can't think of a good Iron Man quote, so peace.
Excelsior.
I must
No,
go
that's
now.
not
My
Iron Man.
planet needs me.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's
my
his
Iron Man.
creator.
Naoya Tsurumi, CEO of Sega Europe at the time.
Alright, see you guys.
I take she wasn't doing her job properly.
Well, it's not so much that too. I don't think she's even in the company anymore. It's just that I'm not the biggest fan of Sega Europe.
I understand that.
Remember, they're the ones who are putting all this de nouveau in Sega's PC releases.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Deep Silver published the non-Sega of Europe, a lot of non-Sega of Europe stuff here.
Fortunately, they recently stopped that. While Persona 5 was published in Europe by Deep Silver, Catherine Full Body was published in Europe by Sega Europe. So fortunately, apparently, they stopped that recently.
Actually, from what I checked for my country, Catherine, by Atlus himself, even in Europe, we have established their own headquarters in Europe a bit ago. But again, I'll need to recheck better. But whatever. Shiroi.
Well, if it
I'm talking about that. Thanks to the Iron Man film team, Jon Favreau. Yeah, I'm sure Jon Favreau was very proud of this game made out of his movie. Go ahead, Shiroi.
Although, I guess he wouldn't really have as high a pedestal to stand on when Iron Man 2 comes along.
But yeah, if it weren't for the questionable voice acting, this is incredibly forgettable. And I honestly don't understand how it was supposed to be a tie-in to the movie, because it starts off, you know, basically assuming that you've seen the movie, but then the rest of it has fuck all to do with the movie. Like,
just to wait, Shiroi. Some of the next cases will get even worse on that front.
Oh, great. Like, they're a tie-in by name and nothing else. But again, voice acting aside, this was just incredibly, incredibly forgettable. There wasn't any variation between gameplay sections at all. It was a shitty bang bang. That's what this was. It's just, yeah, it's really bad. Next.
Oh man, like the gameplay looks really monotonous and repetitive. It doesn't look like the concept in general doesn't seem like too bad. It's just that it's way too simplistic, and I'm guessing repetition probably will settle in very quickly because there's not that much to the gameplay.
And like we said, Pedro, it has controls that are arguably worse than Superman 64.
Not even the upgrade system that they give you, because in each
extra special thanks to Stan the Manly. Yeah, I'm sure Stan Lee will also be great. Very appreciative of this.
Not even the upgrade system they give you. In each mission, you earn money that you use to buy upgrades for your suit, but they don't seem to be tangible. They don't seem to give them the difference that I would have expected from them. So
secret level babies?
The children of the developers are doing the time. It's a common thing, Pedro. Santa Monica does that as well. Basically, if during development the developers have children, they are labeled as the insert name of a team here, children.
Yeah, I remember, because in the credits of Earthworm Jim 1, they also say shiny spouses, not babies, spouses. So the developers all crediting all their wives.
Wives or husbands?
Sure. Yeah, the only real memorable thing about this game is Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, and not for the right reasons. It's because first he's just really bored. Then eventually it starts sounding weird, like he's gritting his teeth while he says his lines. And then slowly he starts getting more and more stoned as the game goes on. It's this weird thing that I really want to know. The recording process, what happened, because there's a clear difference between how he delivers lines at the end of this game and how he delivers them at the beginning. clearly something happened. Like maybe he was just getting so bored of recording this, or maybe it got to a point where he was legitimately went to the studio high, and they were whatever, nobody's gonna care anyway. It's a shitty tie-in game. Let's just let him record as is.
Well, I guess you know your official Q&A question for him the next time he does an AMA.
So yeah, that's literally the only memorable thing about this game. It's aside from that, like the gameplay looks boring, the story is nonsensical, the graphics look ugly, the music is it's like it's not even there. It's that bland.
Oh, so okay, I guess that's one of the few ways that they paid homage to the MCU properly, Phase 1 wise.
Well, actually, I thought Alan Silvestri's first Avengers Corps was awesome.
I said Phase 1 wise, and yeah, Captain America's more so the exception rather than the rule.
True. I just said because first Avenger was Phase 1, so.
Well, Phase 1 and Phase 2, like up until Phase 3, but you get the point.
Sure. Fortunately, when Alan Silvestri is involved, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is not very good. It's not at all. It looks boring. It sounds weird. When it comes to the whole pauses too that you have to edit out, that's the thing I'm wondering. Is the Xbox 360 version maybe doesn't have that problem? Maybe the reason those long pauses exist is because of the game having to read from the slower Blu-ray driver of the PS3. Because I'm pretty sure this game was most likely made for the 360 and then ported to PS3, as most games were back in the day.
Possible, but keep in mind they're not, Sonic 06 level of extra long. They're just an annoyance. So since I need to edit the videos regardless, I was like, yeah, I might as well just do some cuts here and there. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
They do add up an annoyance though. Still, not as much as Sonic 06, but. You will get annoyed.
They are.
I can imagine. It's it's pretty bad. Like it doesn't look like anything that would be all that fun to play because it completely misunderstands the source material, and it's not even a good game on its own merits. It's just, it's bad. Go ahead, Jova.
Again, like I said before, this thing controls arguably worse than Superman 64 when it comes to flight and battling. That's
scary.
Yes. That is this game in a nutshell. It's scary. Like, well, this is the prime example of how bad a game, clearly made by people who don't care, can get. Like, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. certainly doesn't care. Then he starts to sound like he's drunk, and then he starts to sound like he's full-on high. I have no idea what the thought process behind this game was.
Well, I'm so thankful for it because it gave us the one entertaining, fascinating thing about this game.
Again, like you said, though, for the wrong reasons.
Oh, I'll take it, goddammit.
But yeah, it's like, well, almost nothing works about this game. The gameplay does not work. The music does not work. The way they adapt the story just plain out doesn't work. And we're never really given a good reason as to why we have these stupid flashbacks going on with Sean Taub, despite the fact that he dies anyway. They barely do anything with that.
We can adapt the game. We have the technology and the money, but I don't want to spend a lot of it.
Also, the music doesn't work. Jova, you can barely hear the music anyway.
Exactly.
I don't even think the composer is credited.
Obediah Stane spends the majority of this game locked in an office, wondering what the hell he's supposed to do, if anything. I'll give the game this. It does give him more of a motivation for why he's evil than the movie did. But gosh dang it, that's all they've got really going for him.
That's the thing, Java. He also does less because they prepare the climax, instead of actually being a threat to Tony, by stealing his core and everything, he just stays him and leaves him there.
I know, right? And the only reason he gets away from it is because Tony doesn't have him fired after that whole deal with the taser. It's not like he could just call up and say, yeah, R&D, I'd like you to escort Obadiah Stane out of here and have him arrested for charges of assault.
It's not even just that, Joe, but like he has more motivation, but like Gus pointed out, he's more of an idiot in this one.
Yes, he is. He reveals himself while Tony is citing A.I.M. Oh yeah, speaking of which, A.I.M, for the final chapter, show up after you beat Stain, which kind of takes away from Stain's uniqueness as the final boss. And even still, they just do that one little attack, and then boop, they're gone, I guess. Like, wow, the main bad guys of Iron Man, and they're pretty much treated like set pieces at best. Like, that's how pretty much all bad guys in this film are treated. This film game are treated as at best. Just set pieces, chess pieces.
You know what I just realized, Jova? The villains in this game are just as ineffectual as Namajim from Mega Man Fully Charged.
Huh. There you go. Oh boy, this game. And like I said, it is such a terror to play this game because you're constantly getting bombarded. The game constantly tries to quote-unquote challenge you by doing the right thing to get the quote-unquote good cutscene. Could care less about that. The lighting in this game is horrendous. The graphics are awful. It says something that the Wii managed to pull this off better than this. The Wii version. The significantly underpowered in comparison Wii version. Jesus. What else? The writing is pretty much on and off the walls in how bad it is, or when it decides to even have a point. I love how Terrence Howard, for the most part, sounds like he's giving a crap until this final part where he just sounds lamed out himself. Like, you gotta wonder if they gave everyone a Xanatos cocktail pill at some point. Ugh. The worst thing about this game is, like, when it's not being terror bad, it's being boring. Like, so boring that you'll probably lose focus and end up failing a mission. It's that bad and boring. They try to have engaging bouts of dialogue between you and your foes, but it just comes off as... I can't even call it fan service, just table scraps at best. You see all these classic characters, but then they get just killed just as quickly. Like, gosh dang. At least a typical MCU villain got an entire movie before being killed off. And yeah, that's the thing. Even the main villain, Obediah Stane, at the end of the day, comes off as more just a distraction before A.I.M to come to try and finish you off, which they fail doing.
Again, at the very least, in Oak 2003, we actually got to fight all of those obscure villains, regardless of lack of context.
And hell, some of them did make reoccurring appearances here, so the pacing was better. God help me, I'm complimenting the Hulk 2003 video game here.
Yeah, that's all that we've gotten.
You know, that is this, you know, I think that's this game in general. It's something that makes you constantly give compliments to stuff you thought was bad, but then, then you came across the Iron Man video game and realized, holy cow, it can get a heck ton worse. And worse it does get from here, folks, because believe it or not, some of the MCU games are worse than this one.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, no, that actually reminds me, Joe, of one of my favorite moments from you on our Fairfence Ref playthrough, where you suddenly asked yourself, how many times have we complimented Time and Eternity over this game now? And Tail replies, too many, and that's a problem.
That's kind of become our running theme now, because as of this recording, what's considered the worst thing is the Quiet Man. Mind you, we used to think the worst thing was Sonic 06, then we used to think the worst thing was Time and Eternity, then we used to think the worst thing was the Final Fantasy XIV trilogy as a whole, then we used to think the worst thing was Fairfence Ref, and now we think the Quiet Man is...
How times have changed.
Yeah.
For the worse.
But, alright.
Yeah, that's my final thoughts. It's terrible.
Okay, I'll conclude quickly. This is just awful. Like I said, the most hilarious thing to me again is Obadiah remaining locked in the office like he's grounded or something most of the time. But the voice acting in general is awful. I know that the game was dubbed in Italian, but I haven't tried it myself, and I'm not really too keen on replaying this anytime soon. Again, the thing that you haven't seen are the glitches, so rampant, including one that deleted my save file at some point. The adaptation of the story is baffling. It's such an abridged, horrible version of it, and I don't get it why. What else? The gameplay is not fun at all, because the flight controls are awful. So, yeah, sorry, and like just in Robert Downey Jr. is like he probably knows about all this and he doesn't give a single fuck. It's just a terrible licensed game. Just keep it. But unfortunately, our journey has just begun. Tune in next time for the next step in the MCU journey with the Incredible Hulk 2008, made by Jova's Delight, Edge of Reality.
Oh, goody, the same people who killed off the War for Cybertron series. Well, technically that was Activision, but Edge of Reality made that game, and that's what
Believe me,
led to
John,
it.
after playing that game, I'm pretty convinced that they are not great developers in general, but we'll get to you, we'll get on that next time. See ya.
See ya.
So yeah.